Some of the responses I get when I tell people I like to watch shows on serial killers or I'm fascinated with serial killers, they're like, why do you like watching people murdering other people? Like, that's kind of fucked up. But the thing is it has nothing to do with the murdering itself. It's the psychology behind it and what causes these serial killers to tick and do the things they do, and the background that causes them to morph into the person that they are. So I just watched the show Dahmer Monster on Netflix. It's the new mini series. It just came out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. I don't know. I ended up binging it in like 4 days. But if you're a true crime fan and you know about the infamous Jeffrey Dahmer, you need to go and check it out. Now, on the surface, this show just seems like a mini-series recreation of Jeffrey Dahmer and his crimes. And yes, it does go into that a little bit, obviously, but the show packs so much more than that. I mean, it's not just focusing on the killing itself, but it focuses on issues that were taking place during that time, you know, within the LGBTQ community and African Americans and the police and, you know, everything. There's so much more encompassing the series than just a guy who drugs people, murders them, and then takes pictures of their bodies in weird, twisted ways. First episode had me hooked. I feel like the first episode is the best episode of the series. It's just so unnerving and unsettling the whole entire time. You somewhat know what's going to happen, but it puts you in the point of view, in the shoes of the person. I don't want to spoil anything. And that's the other great thing about this show as well, is that the point of view is never on Dahmer himself, which is great because it doesn't give you time to sympathize with Dahmer. Now, throughout the series, of course, we learn a little bit more and more about the background of Dahmer, his family, the way he was raised, the issues going on inside of his family, and how that may have contributed to the things that he's done. But we don't only get those backstories, we get a little bit of backstories of the victims, which pulls you in to a bigger emotional payoff when you know what's going to happen to some of these victims. And the acting in this is just phenomenal. Evan Peters is Jeffrey Dahmer. He knocked it out of the park, from the mannerisms to the way he talked, his voice, everything about him. You could see the disturbing thoughts playing through his mind as scenes play out, but there's also a charismatic charm about him. A weird, unsettling charismatic charm. That's the unknown, right? That's the sort of mystery that draws you in. And I feel like by us as an audience member feeling that, it's exactly what the victims felt as well when they met him at the club. Richard Jenkins as Lionel Dahmer blew me away. The coming to realization of what his son did and trying to hold it together, but still having to process what exactly the he did. It was just, that scene was just extraordinary. On the true hero of the story, Glenda Cleveland, who's played by Niecy Nash. Glenda is the one who knew some was going on. She called the police multiple times, and they did nothing. That little sub-storyline highlights the issues taking place back then and still even sometime today. But I think she did a great job playing someone who struggled and lost, like she doesn't know what to do, and helpless because nobody, no matter how many times she calls for help, nobody wants to help her. So go and check Dahmer out on Netflix. The series is just a slow, unsettling ride all the way through the 10 episodes. As far as a rating for series, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I do truly think it is probably one of the best true crime miniseries shows out there right now. Maybe even either slightly behind or slightly above Mindhunters. Definitely check this series out. All right, peace.